The Prime Minister wouldn't come to them, so several hundred people braved torrential rain today to take their message to her. Well, her electorate office anyway. The 17-kilometre hikoi wound its way from Māngere to Jacinda Ardern's office in Mount Albert, with protesters presenting a giant invitation to the Prime Minister to visit the disputed Ihumātao site. The crowd was led by a very vocal Pania Newton, the founder of Soul, as it made its way through the streets, with school children lining up in places to greet them. Our reporter Alex Perrottet and cameraman Nick Monro donned their rain jackets and spent much of the day with the protesters as they took their cause beyond the sacred site and into the city.
It was cold, wet and dark, but it was time to take the protest on the road. These protectors and kaitiaki of the sacred site in Māngere at Ihumātao decided if the Prime Minister wasn't going to the mountain will go to the Prime Minister, 17 kilometres away to Jacinda Ardern's office in Mount Albert. And 5 kilometres down the road, the children of Māngere Bridge School were standing and holding their painted messages as they washed away in the wet. Their commitment to the hikoi and the marches so strong that they stood here waiting for them, singing in the rain.
We are walking for justice, justice for the land and justice for the people.
It's been a month since the standoff at Ihumātao began, but Pania Newton has been fighting long before that and isn't slowing down, nor is she toning down her pohirihiri to the Prime Minister.
To come to Ihumātao and visit the land for herself.
Is she going to, do you think? She's trying to stay out of it as much as she can.
I'm saying hopeful, but I don't accept her justification as to why she won't come and visit. At some stage, the Crown has to take responsibility for the land confiscation in 1863 and then again in 2016. They're robbing the public of a very special cultural heritage site, and so she's also the Minister for Heritage and Culture. She has a responsibility to heed the call of her people.
And then how do you think this is going to be resolved otherwise? This is going on 30 days now. How long are you willing to stick it out?
For as long as it takes. We've been on the land for nearly 3 years now, and we've always said that we'll hold the land for as long as we can until we find a resolution for the protection of Ihumātao.
This kaumātua too adamant that there will be a resolution and adamant to walk the whole 17 kilometres.
I'm 70 old now, 73. And I'm still walking walking the talk. So I hope to get to the end of it all. And now that the rain
it's easing a little bit.
The rain is doing its duty and we are doing our duty. Now that it's eased off and we're going to continue on the march.
The hikoi, with flags and banners, one simply saying, "Come, Jacinda," snaked its way over Māngere Bridge, prompting drivers to toot their horns in support.
Because land's been stolen and land needs to be given back. It's an iconic historical part of New Zealand, so it shouldn't have houses on. I live in Māngere Bridge, so it's a no-brainer. The local people need our full support.
Mother and daughter, we whānau back to the land through our ancestor kaupare. So yes, we're very saddened but happy to be here today and to represent our whānau and just to stand.
I think we're in it for the long run, whether it's resolved in another 30 days or another 60 days. I think everybody's prepared to sit it out and wait it out, whether a resolution comes now or later.
If somebody takes something of yours, you want it back. Even if it's 100 and something years, you still want it back. Because there's not much of that. That's probably the last of the mountain there, and after that, there's no more.
The hikoi grew at every intersection, forcing major road closures on St Luke's Road and in New North Road, where the banner-sized invitation was prepared and sealed in its envelope. Here at the Prime Minister's office on New North Road, the invitation with over 26,500 signatures is currently being handed over. Now, the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, is not here, but she will hear the chants, she will sense the resolve and get the very clear message from these protesters that the Crown is far more caught up in this dispute than she wants it to be. The Prime Minister's staff, guided by security, almost swamped by the crowd and greeted with a passionate haka. These tamariki who handed the invitation over aren't here just for themselves. They're already thinking about those who come after them.
We want our whenua back for my mokopuna and also for my children that can come and for my generation.
And they too aren't letting the Prime Minister off lightly.
I feel a little bit disappointed that Jacinda Ardern could go to a rugby game instead of not coming to Ihumātao. How could you go to a rugby game but not come and see us, your people that are down suffering in the cold, and you're at a rugby game?
In Mount Albert for Checkpoint, Alex Perrottet.